Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, found himself in a peculiar situation after marrying actress Ann-Margret in 1967. Rumors swirled that this union was a rebound from Elvis's fiery relationship with Elvis's own musical muse, Priscilla. Yet despite the gossip, the marriage endured, surprising many who thought it would be fleeting. Elvis and Priscilla's love story continued to defy expectations, even as Elvis himself engaged in other romantic entanglements. In the tumultuous world of celebrity relationships, Elvis was no stranger to attracting attention from women. Just months after his wedding, he found himself in the company of dancer Priscilla Peck, whose career had taken an unexpected turn after dancing lessons with Stephen Peck, who had previously worked with Tommy Sands. Joe Esposito, a friend of Elvis, became aware of this new connection and advised Elvis to stay away. But Elvis, ever the womanizer, seemed to thrive on such attention. Meanwhile, Elvis's relationship with Nancy Sinatra, though passionate, faced its own hurdles. Nancy, not one to settle for a mere friendship with a married man, wanted more. Yet she refused to be his wife, keeping her distance despite their intense connection. It wasn't just Elvis's romantic life that was complicated, even his friendships were fraught with challenges. Take, for example, the case of Quentin Dean and Michelle Carey. Their story, while less known, reflects the same chaotic energies surrounding Elvis. After just a year of marriage, Michelle found herself seeking more than just dancing lessons from Stephen Peck, leading to gossip that reached even Elvis's ears. In response, Elvis, ever the protector of those he cared about, advised Joe Esposito to stay out of Michelle's life. Amid these relationship dramas, Elvis sought refuge in Hawaii. In May 1968, he, Priscilla, and their daughter Lisa Marie visited the island. It was there, at the Karate Tournament of Champions, that Elvis met Mike Stone, a local instructor whose skills left a strong impression. Stone's physique and talents caught Elvis's eye, and years later he would become an important figure in Elvis's life, working in security and bodyguard roles. Elvis's time in Hawaii wasn't just about meeting new people, it was also a strategic move to shed some weight. The king was known for his love of food, but he was also capable of discipline when he wanted to be. With some exercise and a change of scenery, Elvis returned from Hawaii looking and feeling better. Back in the spotlight, Elvis faced pressure from Colonel Parker, his manager, to focus more on TV appearances rather than films. Parker believed that TV would keep Elvis's name in the public eye and drive sales of his music. This led to a deal with NBC for a special TV show designed to showcase Elvis's talents in a fresh way. The show would be funded by NBC and feature a soundtrack album, with the Singer Sewing Machine Company as the sponsor, targeting a primarily female audience. The production team behind this comeback special included Bob Finkel, an experienced producer, and Steve Binder as director. Binder, known for his work on Hullabaloo and the TMI show, was tasked with bringing a modern edge to Elvis's image. Meanwhile, Elvis was open to new ideas and eager to connect with the younger generation, even as he navigated the complexities of his personal life. As preparations for the special began, Elvis invited his longtime friends Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana to join him on stage. However, producer Steve Binder had other plans, envisioning a more dynamic performance that would highlight Elvis's evolution as an artist. Binder set up a simple stage where Elvis and his musicians could interact in a more casual setting, creating an intimate atmosphere for both the performers and the audience of 300. The special, eventually titled Singer Presents Elvis, took shape as a series of memorable performances. Elvis sang classic hits like Heartbreak Hotel and Blue Suede Shoes, his voice sometimes hoarse, adding to the raw emotion of the performance. The show was not without its challenges. Elvis had to quickly recover from sweating profusely during the first show, a testament to his dedication and the high stakes of the performance. Throughout the special, Elvis's guitar playing was fierce and emotive, especially during covers of songs like Rufus Thomas's Tiger Man. The show became a celebration of Elvis's musical journey, blending nostalgia with a forward-looking message of peace and love. As the king took the stage, it was clear that despite his personal ups and downs, Elvis Presley remained a force to be reckoned with in the world of entertainment. In the summer of 1960, Elvis Presley was at the peak of his fame. But instead of performing live, he decided to take his show to the television screen. This was no ordinary TV appearance. It was a special event that showcased Elvis's charisma and talent in a unique way. The show was filled with surprises, laughter, and even some behind-the-scenes stories that reveal the man behind the myth. On this special evening, Elvis started with a twist. He was nervous about his lips, so instead of singing "Are You Lonesome Tonight," he changed the lyrics to make it funny. He joked around, calling the Beatles and the Beards, which made the audience laugh, but the musicians were not so amused. They laughed too hard, which made it hard for Elvis to focus on his performance. Elvis attempted to sing "Are You Lonesome Tonight," but the setup was too awkward. The police had filmed a previous show, thinking Elvis was strange because he couldn't move except for his finger. The police even filmed this new show, but Elvis couldn't stay still. He had to pretend he couldn't move except for his little finger. It was all part of the show, even if it seemed silly. During the rehearsals, Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager, joined them. It was his birthday, and Elvis made a funny song about asking for a Christmas song on a hot June day. The show's writers, Alan Bile and Chris Beard, wrote this parody, and Colonel Parker took it well. Later, Elvis played a prank by singing "Blue Christmas" and asking the musicians to play it dirty. One musician encouraged him, shouting, "Play it dirty, play it dirty." Elvis's guitar player, Scotty, didn't have his guitar strap, so when Elvis stood up, Scotty had to improvise. Elvis joked around, saying he needed a guitar strap to the tune of "One Night." It was a funny moment, and Elvis hadn't played guitar as much since his early days with Sun Records. For the end of each show, Elvis sang "Memories" to a pre-recorded backing track. It was an unusual way to finish, but it worked. The show also included a mix of Elvis's old hits and new songs. They filmed performances of classics like "Heartbreak Hotel" and "Hound Dog," along with some fun production numbers featuring other songs. One of the most interesting moments was when Elvis sang "If I Can Dream." At first, he thought it was too Broadway-like, but he soon saw it could work with a bluesy feel. This song became a big part of the show, setting the stage for other inspirational tracks. The TV sessions were not just about the music. There were fun moments and even some challenges. Don Randy, the session pianist, remembered how they worked long hours, sometimes past midnight. Elvis would often come over to help with tricky parts of the music. One time, Elvis asked Don to fix a confusing piano cue. Don helped him focus, and within minutes, Elvis nailed it. But the pressure was on. The floor manager kept reminding them to hurry up. Elvis even joked about getting a lunch break, which ended up costing the studio money. After the successful TV special, Elvis was buzzing with energy. He had just seen some Italian westerns and was inspired to make one himself. He wanted it to be like Clint Eastwood's films, but made in America. The idea was to have a rough, unkempt look with lots of outdoor scenes and intense action. However, the film, titled Charro, turned out differently. In Charro, Elvis played a cowboy who suddenly finds a wild horse and trains it in a short time. The story was a bit confusing, with Elvis walking away from a showdown without getting hurt, which was typical for westerns but felt out of place. The film had a lot of music, but Elvis didn't sing on screen, which was unusual for him. The movie had some problems, like a bad dialogue that seemed like it was dubbed, and a ridiculous ending. Despite these flaws, it was a part of Elvis's adventure in exploring different roles and genres. That summer, Elvis Presley showed the world a different side of himself on television. It was a mix of humor, music, and a glimpse into the man behind the legend. The special was full of surprises, from funny moments to heartfelt performances. Even with its flaws, it remains a memorable event in Elvis's career, showing his versatility and ability to entertain in any setting. Elvis Presley and Las Vegas have a special connection. While Frank Sinatra is often linked with the city's mafia ties, Elvis had a different kind of relationship. Elvis first visited Las Vegas in 1956 and made a movie there, Viva Las Vegas, which came out in 1964. But it was really from 1969 that Elvis started performing live in Vegas, marking a big change. This change was largely because Howard Hughes, a very rich man, moved into the city and the mob or organized crime started to move out. During the years from 1964 to 1969, Las Vegas transformed. It became a place where people could have fun without losing everything they had. This change was partly thanks to Howard Hughes. Elvis was a big part of this new Las Vegas. He wanted to be more than just a singer, he wanted to be a millionaire. To do this, he kept a big sum of money, $1 million in the bank. This was his way of being prepared and in control. Elvis had a clear image in mind, known as the look. From when he was young, it was clear he knew how to dress and present himself. He always looked sharp and handsome, no matter what the occasion. This was different from other stars like the Beatles, who sometimes looked disheveled. Elvis was always put together, even in movies set in the past. He never played characters older than himself and always wore clothes that made him look good. Elvis was comfortable with showing sweat in public. He believed it made his performances more exciting. This was evident in his films and live shows where he wore tight, often shiny suits that made him stand out. He even influenced the fashion of the time with his style, blending country music's flair with the bold looks of karate fighters. His outfits were designed by Bill Ballou, who understood how to make Elvis look both powerful and stylish. One of Elvis's famous outfits was a white jumpsuit, which he wore in a show in Nevada. Many thought it might make him look silly, but it turned out to be a trendsetter. Other performers copied his style, showing how influential Elvis was. His fashion sense was part of the larger trend of the 1970s, a decade often forgotten for its fashion but actually full of interesting styles. Elvis's return to Las Vegas was a big deal. He wasn't just another act, he was a symbol of change. His performances and style helped make Las Vegas a more family-friendly destination while still keeping its excitement. Elvis's influence on Las Vegas and fashion shows how one person can change the way people think about entertainment and style. In the end, Elvis's impact on Las Vegas was huge. He helped make the city a place where fun and entertainment went hand in hand, without the dark ties of the past. His style and performances left a lasting mark, inspiring many to follow his lead. This is why Elvis is remembered not just as a singer, but as a true icon who changed an entire city.